Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 7 of Loop Storytime. I am your host, Loop Story. We are coming at you live from the Garce Works studio in Englewood, Colorado. Up in the production, folks. Thank you for being here with me. We're going to keep the party going. We got a great set. We got Doey Joey coming up next. Awesome comedian and DJ out on the East Coast. You might know him if you're a fan of Goose. But for the time being, I got a great set for you. Let's keep playing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Again, we are at week 7 of Loop Storytime live from the Garsworks Studios. Thank you guys so much for everyone that came out to support the Dazzle show last weekend. It was an amazing experience to have all of you there cheering and being a part of this show. For all of those who have continued to believe in this, thank you, thank you, thank you so, so, so much. We're going to keep the party going, okay? Minus the snow we've been having recently, it has been a pretty lovely day. Got a few more songs left for you guys. In the past few times that I've played this, you guys have given me so much just positive reinforcement on it. I'm going to keep playing it for you. This is my original song, recently titled, thank you to Jerry Lyle Willis out in Hawaii. This song is now called Jam Cat. So I hope you guys enjoy this original. I enjoy playing it. I love playing for you guys. I appreciate you tuning in. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Jam Cat. That is an original that I've been putting together for you guys. Thank you for the love that you've been showing me for that. Got 2 more songs left in this set. Please stick around for Doey Joey, a DJ comedian from the East Coast. If you're in the Goose fam, you have probably recognized him opening up for Goose. I'm super excited to get to sit down, talk with him, get to know him, hear all about that life, and I hope you guys are excited as well. 2 more songs for you.
Every day to play away. Can't get out of my mind, yeah. Think about the girl all the time. East side to the west side, put your fat right, it's no surprise. She got tricks in the stash, passing up cash, fast when it comes to the gas. By no means average, when she comes, she got you happy. Baby, I'm a perfect 10. Can I get in? Can I get down so I can win? Like the way you work it, no tiggity. Gotta bag it up, oh baby. Like the way you work it, no tiggity. Gotta bag it up, oh baby. Like the way you work it, no tiggity. Gotta bag it up, oh baby. Like the way you work it, no tiggity. Gotta bag it up. She got class and style, street knowledge by the pound. Baby never act wild, very low key on a profile. Said what we know, let me show you how it goes. Girls, the word spins the verse, love is in curves, so freak what you heard. Rolling with the fatness, and you don't even know what the path is. You got to pay to play, just for shout out bang bang to look your way. Like the way you work it, all time, all day, every day, yeah. Rolling my mind, baby, in time, baby, I can get you in my ride. Baby, like the way you work it, no tiggity. Gotta bag it up, oh baby. Like the way you work it, no tiggity. Gotta bag it up, oh baby. Like the way you work it, no tiggity. Gotta bag it up, oh baby. Like the way you work it, no tiggity. Come on, gotta bag it up, oh baby. Hey, oh, way, oh, way, oh, way, oh. That girl look good. Hey, oh, way, oh, way, oh, way, oh. That girl working, no diggity. Gotta bag it up, oh baby. Hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, that girl look good. Hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, that girl look good. Like the way you work it, no diggity. Gotta bag it up, oh baby. Like the way you work it, no diggity. Gotta bag it up, oh baby. Like the way you work it, no diggity. Gotta bag it up, oh baby. Like the way you work it, no diggity. Gotta bag it up, oh baby. Hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, that girl look good. Hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, that girl look good. Hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, that girl look good. Hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, that.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in week after week. This is going to be my last song. I will see you in 2 weeks. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Loop Story. I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. Stay tuned for Doey Joey, and I will see you in 2 weeks. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Life, Music, and Everything in Between. I am your host, Loop Story, and with me, we have Doey Joey coming at us from the East Coast. How you doing, Joey?
Yo, what up, Luke? Thanks for having me, man.
Of course, man. So we are kind of brothers of the Loose Leaf Jamcast family. You also have a podcast going on your end over there, yeah?
Yeah, I got the Doey Joey Showey every other Thursday
Perfect.
on Jamcast, man.
Awesome.
Cool family to be a part of.
Right? Yeah. Shout out to Matt Dolliver and Emily and all that team for making that come together. Tell me a little bit about tell me a little bit about your show. Tell me a little about your music, because you got a pretty diverse little definition of what you are: comedian slash DJ slash host slash all about badass. So tell me a little bit about you, man.
I think as far as people go, like, I'm doing all right. I'm just trying to figure out who I am in general. So it's all right that, it's a mystery a little bit. No, so mostly DJing right now, and I'm focused on providing people with a good time. So now that live events are happening again, yeah, right. Let's hear it for live events.
Yeah.
Now that that's happening again, I'll put a lot of my energy towards throwing like pre or post parties for bands that I like when they come to my neighborhood and that kind of deal. I like Goose. I know we got a new venue here I'm in Bridgeport, Connecticut, which is real close to New Haven, Connecticut. We just got the Yale Bowl. So we've got like the Disco Biscuits are coming through, Umphreys is coming by. So like when all these bands come to town, I'm trying to throw the parties, surrounding it. And as of May 19th in Connecticut, we're going to be having a lot of our restrictions lifted. So it'll feel good to get back out there.
Yeah, Denver's kind of on a similar trajectory from what I've been hearing, that we're looking like mid-May that some parts of the Denver metro are going like maskless. Some places are going capacity. Like, I don't know, but I would love to believe that is a possibility. And I think that's all we can do is really just hope.
Maskless would scare me. So Connecticut's still gonna have like mask laws. So we'll be able to serve for the longest time. If you didn't serve food, you couldn't serve like you could have a party. It has to be serving food. You couldn't just be a bar.
Yeah.
So they'll be changing that up, but we'll still have to have our masks on, and that makes me feel better. I don't know if I'd be as gung ho about it but who knows? I don't know. I'm vaxxed too. I'm getting my second shot coming up, so I'm good to go.
Yeah, I've been vaxxed for about 3 weeks now fully, and It's like I'm wearing a mask still in public, and you're like, it's more just doing the right thing.
I wear shoes in public so that it doesn't freak people out, not because I want to have shoes on,
Right. I don't know much about Bridgeport, Connecticut, but you might want to have some shoes on in certain parts of this country.
Yeah, it's all right over here.
So tell me a little bit about your DJing, like your production, your DJing, and like how you're a DJ who opens for a lot of live bands, which you don't really hear about a lot. Live bands usually lend themselves to live bands to be openers.
Yeah.
Tell me about the relationships that you've made over the years to be able to put yourself in as a pretty solid go-to opener for groups like Goose.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the passion for loving live music. I love my mom when I was growing up. She always had like classic rock on in the car and stuff like that. So I love the rock and roll music, and mostly, like I said before, so on a smaller scale. So I live right in between two very popular venues here, Bryac and the Acoustic Cafe. So when these bands would come and play these venues, we would throw the house parties, bring the bands through afterwards, and have everyone chilling, and that kind of built the reputation out until it became too big to be a house party, and then we had to start getting venues, which was cool too. And as far as like a musical, like I've been really chill on the production end of things. I used to be really into it. Recently, I've just been I like listening to music. I like finding songs I don't think anyone has heard before with super nice funky licks to it, and playing it when the time's right for the right group of people, and that's what it's all about for me personally.
Crushes it.
I don't play any live instruments or anything.
No, but I mean, being able to mix, being able to do all that stuff is a super, super good or super cool skill to have that people don't realize how the process of DJing, the process of mixing live, and how cool and badass that can be.
It's definitely fun. It's definitely fun. It's nothing like I was watching your show, man, with the loops, baby. That's crazy, Like that blows my mind. I'm like, I can't play one instrument, let alone six.
That's just undiagnosed ADHD from my childhood, man. It's because once you start getting into it, it all just falls into place, and just doing one thing can get kind of boring after a while. So my brain's like, oh, well, let's make it 30 things, and then you'll be fine.
I like it. I like a distraction.
It keeps me busy.
Well, it works.
Right? Thanks, man. I appreciate it. So when did you start really getting into doing the live pre-party stuff, timeline wise for me? Like, when did you start getting into performing music or mixing and that kind of timeline? To walk me through that.
Before I saw my first jam band show live, I really wasn't doing too many live things besides just house parties. And
who was your first jam band?
Disco Biscuits, baby.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, 2009 I saw them. All my buddies had been seeing them, and they would play it in the car, and it kind of sounded rough, and I would be kind of hating on it. And they came to our town. They came to Bridgeport in 2009. They're like, all right, you have no choice but to come and see them, because these guys were traveling and losing their jobs to see them, and doing that whole thing. So when they came out, I saw them, and then the next thing I went to Camp Bisco, which is their music festival that they used to have in Mariahville, I believe it's called.
Yeah.
Over there, and that was really it for me, going to my first festival and seeing the types of humans and the walk of life and the freedom everyone was sharing, and all about the love of music and all different kinds of that festival is great because they had hip hop acts and dubstep and jam bands, and it was very cool, that was probably it for me in 2009. That's when I was like, okay, cool, I want to be a part of this now. Before that, I was kind of producing hip hop beats and working with Ableton and Fruity Loops and a lot of rappers and stuff, and that's fun too. And I still love to rap and hang out. If we were chilling and you busted out some loops, I don't know, maybe I'd have something to say over it,
That's awesome.
But then it got more into just the kind of, I was like, oh, well, I'll DJ, and then I'll be able to sneak the beats that I'm making in, so I could share them with large groups of people instead of just playing them in my room for my friends.
Yeah.
And then the more I got into DJ, the less I got into making beats at all, and was just like, yo, I want to keep having parties on the weekend, and doing that and focusing on it. And now it's my job. This is what I do now. It's awesome. I never thought that would be the case.
So looking at you said you kind of have this 1970s, 1980s funk hip hop style. Because I know nothing about creating tracks and selecting your music as a DJ. So when you're looking to where do you pull from content wise that you find your most success? Everything, anything, any artists particularly speak to you?
I mean, I listen to a lot of everything these days. With the live, as far as right now goes, with the live streams, because we're at home and I'm doing a lot of live streams. So every week, and I'm gonna plug my shit real quick.
No, do it.
We do Wednesdays at noon, and that goes until whenever we feel like it. Normally at least 2 to 3 hours. Sometimes we go big boy sets. I'll do a 5-hour jam, if not. Yeah, marathon it out. And then I do Saturdays at 10 o'clock. We do a late night slice. The first one's called the Daytime Discotheque. The late night slice is Saturdays, and that's kind of like a genreless one where I'll step outside of the funk house motif a little bit. And I just started another one on Mondays where I just play music that I like. So it's not even a DJ set. It's mostly live band, live recordings.
Okay.
So nowadays I'm so busy just gathering music for that. And I have just things built for success for that. So I have a SoundCloud account, and I follow artists that I like, that I've liked for the past 5 years, that are putting out new music. If you're an artist that doesn't put out new music constantly, I'm probably not like I might listen to your stuff, but I'm not like following you a lot actively on those accounts because I depend on them to feed me new music, you know? So I have TrackSource and Beatport and Bandcamp and all these different sites to pull music from, and I just follow a lot of different producers, and this is what I do. So, you know, like I'll have whole days of the week that I've scheduled out for myself where it's like, what are you going to do Monday? And it's like smoke some buds and find new music all day, you know?
That's
And
awesome.
that's work for me because like now I'm set for my next 2 live streams, and I don't have to, you know, I'm not giving people the same songs that I DJ'd for them. They have the regular radio if they want to hear the same shit over and over again,
Right.
not on Doey Joey's Twitch page.
That-
No.
So who are some of the artists that like you that are feeding you that what so let me rephrase it. Who are some of the artists that are getting you fat? If they're feeding you, who are some of the like
Okay, so like I like Columbo a lot. If I'm just listing like DJs and producer, you
Yeah.
know, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Columbo. Yeah, he's real nice. I like Justin J. He's from Dirty Bird. That's Claude Von Stroke's record label, and he's like a very famous DJ. He's pretty big. I think he got like #1 DJ last year.
Oh,
Not
wow.
Justin J, but Claude Von Stroke, number
Yeah.
1 DJ like in America. And then like a lot of live bands. So I listen to a lot of Goose. You know, to an obnoxious amount of Goose. Really, they're like one of the only bands I was listening to for a while. Those are my homies, and recently they've just been like putting out fire music. I've been checking out, which actually cool is working with Jamcast. I'm finding a lot of new music because reaching out for these shows, I'm getting familiar with so many artists. So recently I've been listening to a lot of Solar Circuit, who's actually going to be up on the show. They're a band from Philly. They're sweet. And then as far as like people who I would say like, you know, influenced me, I brought up the Disco Biscuits before, but it's tough, man, because a lot of the stuff that I listen to doesn't influence the music that I make. Because like I told you, I like the DJ sets are for the genre that I'm in now, you know, whereas like the music that I listen to is a lot heavier. I listen to the Disco Biscuits. I listen to like Wu-Tang or Guru. I like Gangstar. I like a lot of old school 90s hip hop. So, but that's not what I'm playing when I'm, you know, DJing. So that'd be a misleading thing to say that any of that influences my DJ sets. Yeah, right? Hell
So,
yeah.
shout out to the fans.
To the fans, baby.
Yeah. So like tell me a little bit more about the Doey Joey Showey, the podcast. I know you've had like seen you had interviews with like Frasco and like what kind of stuff do you guys go through on there that
It's way less organized than this, man. It's rough. We just kind of get people on the line and then agree to come and sit down. We'll get you now. You know that I'm doing your show, so you're gonna get.
perfect?
We'll call you on over. But yeah, I don't know. There's not really a script, man. Depending on who it is, makes me decide what I want to talk about. Some people I know really well. I just did the Mushroom Cloud. Those are homies of mine. I've been doing shows with them and hanging out with them for a long time. And then I did Andy Frasco, and that was my first time speaking with him. And, you know, that was fun, too. He's a crazy guy. He's definitely a challenge to interview. So I don't know about you personally, like what made you want to do the podcast part of this? But mine was just I'm very talkative and loud and obnoxious, and people that I talked to a lot were just like, yo, maybe if we get him a podcast, he'll get it out of his system, and then they talked me into doing a podcast. So I don't really have like any business doing it. So the show's just me like getting people on FaceTime, and then that's that. Whatever comes out of it.
That's fun. Yeah, it was Emily with Loose Leaf. She was like, "Hey, you should probably try to do this," and I was like,
Nice.
"Yeah." And so figured
yeah.
why not? And this will be episode 7. So we've been doing this for
Nice.
a little bit, and it's so like again, thank you for being a part of this. And,
I think I'm on 6, so I'm one
okay.
behind you. Nice.
God, guys, I'm coming for you.
Yeah, the first season, or like season 1, I guess, of the Doey Joey Showey was all me DJing.
Okay.
Before Facebook had changed up all the rules and policies for like what I could stream.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of the times I'm playing music that does not belong. You know, I don't own a Madonna song.
Yeah.
When I'm DJing a Madonna song, and I'm not remixing it enough or doing anything enough to it, like to change it from like. And I'm spinning another person's edit of the Madonna song. So like I got like a Virgin that sped up like 20 beats per minute, and they added new kick drums to it and remastered the percussion so it's like got more of a groove to it and extended the intro. So that's it. That's all that's done. So that person already broke copyright laws.
Yeah.
Then I'm taking that person's song and I'm playing it on Facebook. And after like a month into quarantine, they were like, "Yo, bro, no way! Like,
you can't do that."
So I kept trying to like beat them out and change up what I was doing. So then I like marked the page as a video game page, and I would stream videos. I would like make video montages and clips out of like whatever my favorite video games were, like Mario Brothers. I like old stuff, Super Mario Brothers 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the best Mario Brothers.
It's the best game ever, in my opinion. So I would take things like that and I would like glitch it out and make that the visuals. And I got away with that for a little bit too. They literally thought that I was like streaming me playing video games with like music on in the background when it was really me DJing to what looked like video games being played.
Yeah.
And then that didn't work. And then we had been kind of talking about doing the podcast version of it for a while. So I finally just sacked up and did that. And now I'm on episode 6 and we're probably going to move it right on into like the real world now. Like a lot of the bands that I was already reaching out to interview are now coming to my neighborhood to play shows.
Oh, dope.
So at this point, it's like, maybe it'll just be like an in-person thing instead of like a Zoom call thing, and I'll keep it going with the podcast flow.
Funny. Wait a minute. So like looking kind of to the past and the past year and the future, like what was COVID like for you? How did you deal? How did you succeed? How did you struggle? How did you make it through?
As a person or like music-wise?
Yes.
Yes, nice. Well, like I told you, I got the streams, which was a lot of fun. I upgraded myself as an individual because I had never done a live stream before. I'd never been on Twitch before. I'd never used the online broadcasting systems before.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really cool. I also found enjoyment in that because, like, I never had enough of a following to have a radio show until I was forced to have one, and everyone else was forced to stay inside. So like I always wanted to do like these late weird like space baking space like stony shows that were like very like 70s synth and stuff, and it was a perfect opportunity for that. So that kept me sane right away because like that happened. My job situation was up and down. It would go from like I'm unemployed to like we're not running shop, or we're running but it's also like got your own. I worked for a company that would do like clean outs.
Okay.
So I was like an in-home service person. So when COVID hit, it definitely made it sketchy to be having my job.
Yeah.
And then, so there was like a moment where I didn't have work, and then I was working from home, kind of all over the place. I ended up just bailing on the whole job thing because I realized that now I could never go back because one of the, you're talking about like benefits, you said thank God for COVID before, but like one of the benefits that I've taken from it is I've always been someone I'm on the move so much. And especially when I had a full-time job, that my job would start at 7. I was like 2 hours away in transit from like waking up, walking to the train, taking the train to work, and like going to my job. And then same thing for coming home, and then trying to DJ gigs and trying to have any sort of a personal life. And I was the kind of person that like yearned to wake up in the morning and get to like do yoga, And then now I do that because now, the COVID, this break allowed me to think about what's important, and you got to think about like this is advice for anybody that's in a situation where they're like, I need more money, but they're necessarily having harder ways to find out how to get it. It's not sometimes all about like how much money you can have. It's sometimes it's about like doing the most with the money that you do have, and making it work for you, And that was something that was big for me was, going to the grocery stores and looking at what's on sale and, making a lot of meals for the week. I owe a lot of it to my girlfriend. I'm saying me, but I really mean my girlfriend whipped my ass into shape with that stuff.
Shout out to them girlfriends out there. Shout out to the girlfriends.
I heard you brought her up a couple times. You're like, my lovely girlfriend. And I'm like, yeah, man, that's it for me too, huh?
I mean, yeah, we got our health in check this year, and I'm the chef, and she just does all the meal planning, and so I just shop and cook, but all the nuts and bolts of it are on her, and so it's like, okay, there we go.
I was like a wake up, make my coffee with my eyes closed, get in the shower, out the door, swearing because I'm forgetting something as the sun's coming up kind of guy. And then like coming home, hanging out with my buddies, going out to the bar, getting home, staying up late working on music because that's finally the time that I have to like sit home in my room and listen to music, and then go to bed and start it all over again. And it just like depletes you. You know, you get to the weekend when you're supposed to be productive and have some you time when you're spending 40 hours of your week working for someone else, and you're just shot. You're like, I want to watch Netflix all day. That's all I want to do. And now I wake up and I like drink a quart of water, you know, or like a one mason jar full, because I got to drink 4 of them a day because that's what, like, you know, they say is healthy for you.
Yeah.
And I eat an orange before I start doing anything. And then if I don't have something immediately to do, I'll take like a walk around the neighborhood and stretch in the living room for like an hour. And it's like, yeah, what? Like, it's mind blowing to me that my schedule would ever work itself out to be like this. It's so, to be honest, it's like what's making everything else so easy to be successful in.
Yeah.
Now you got yourself a good starting platform, and my schedule is a happy routine that I'm happy with, and we can start booking shows again. You know, and now things are starting to pick back up. So that all the quarantine work that I put in, drinking less, you know, we don't get too deep into it, but I was a hell of a partier.
Yeah.
You know, prior to this, and even the year before quarantine hit, I was really getting myself together, but that was affecting a lot of my relationships with people and making certain people not want to like work with me, or certain venues that they were, you know, when it's like a roll of the dice with you, people don't want to work with you, you know.
They want to know. They want to know what they're going to get every single time, and
consistency. Yeah, you know. So like that was a major thing with me too.
And that's like with drinking. When you said you've been cutting back on that for sure.
Yeah, so drinking wasn't really my problem, but drinking was like the thing that would start me up and make me forget that the other things were a problem, you know.
It was the gateway to the other stuff.
Yeah, and I just, as a person, you got to know yourself, and I know at this age now, I know myself, and I know that like I don't have good self-control when it comes to those things. I'm not the kind of guy that like gets off work and cracks 2, you know, Budweisers, and it's like, oh yeah, I had my 2 beers. If I get off work and crack a beer at 6 o'clock, it'll be 3 o'clock in the morning. Next thing you know, it's like, I'm like, no, you don't know what the hell's coming out of my mouth, you know. So
good on you for kind of lassoing that in, because that's
all Becky. That's all Becky.
I mean, good job. Good job on Becky for putting up with you as you lassoed it in. I mean, that's, like I said, cheers to the girlfriends.
Yeah, it took a little bit to get it right, but you know.
Oh, the growth from an ex-partier to like a trying to get your shit together is that
was like self-destructive, you know. It was like either like get it together or die. It's your choice.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to overplay it, but like, you know, that's life.
Yeah, no, good on you, man. And looking at that hour went by real fast.
Yeah, dude, that was fun. That was good.
Awesome. Well, ladies and gentlemen,
hopefully you got enough out of that to like, you know.
I'm sure I did. I can make 25 minutes out of this.
Good.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning into episode 7 of Loop Storytime. This has been Doey Joey, DJ comedian, all about just great person to be able to sit and DJ comedian, not the other way around, right?
Yeah, I wasn't comedian until you said it, man.
Oh, I read somewhere.
That was like a sarcastic afterthought. Yo, you should interview Doey Joey. He's a comedian. ...
That's
the comedian was sarcasm.
Right. Well, cool, man. Well,
Thanks
great
for having me on, man.
Of course, this episode's going to be uploaded to the Jamcast networks. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We will be back in 2 weeks with a new show, new guest, and we will see you then.